Greetings, beings of light. In June 1990, a man called Paul had a near-death experience after a severe bicycle accident. While he was unconscious, he had a vision in which he met Jesus, who showed him future scenarios, including a possible Third World War, and gave him the option to stay in heaven or return to earth. He decided to return to take care of his family, believing he made the right choice. Let's find out together if he really did. Hello, my name is Paul, and everything happened in June 1990. The day wasn't any different, except that it was hotter than usual. I was cycling to work, as always, when a car swerved into my lane. The bike and I were hit directly. I was thrown 5 meters from where I was hit. The car was going so fast that the impact was devastating. I was unconscious. I don't know how much time passed, but when I opened my eyes, I could see myself lying on the road. The scene of the accident was terrible. Unfortunately, I immediately saw that my right leg was severely twisted. Suddenly, a force began to drag me. I was very scared and kept struggling until a voice appeared. "Relax. Don't resist. I'm here to help you." I stopped resisting because I knew it was useless. I was walking through a dark tunnel, and there was a small white spot at the end. Disturbing noises came from the tunnel, like a cat scratching a couch, and I could faintly hear some painful moans. Gradually, all these sounds disappeared. I found myself in a mysterious place. The sky was so blue that the memory of it now makes me cry. The grass was so soft that you could lie down and fall asleep, and the water was so pure. What shocked me even more was all the souls I saw. Everyone seemed so happy. I was curious about everything there. At that moment, I thought to myself, is this heaven? To my surprise, the answer to my question was, yes, this is heaven, and I have been waiting for you. There was no one around me, so who was speaking? But the voice was coming from right next to me. The voice was gentle, like when a mother sings a lullaby to her child. I asked what he meant by waiting for me. The voice said that my time on Earth was up and I could stay there. But if I still wanted to return to Earth, no one would stop me. I asked why I couldn't see him, and the voice said the reason was that my eyes were not open. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, everything in front of me became clearer and more beautiful. Finally, I saw who was talking to me. It was a young man with a beard, brown eyes, and healthy skin. He was wearing a very clean white robe and had scars on his hands and feet. I'm not a Christian, and there are no Christians in my family. But now I am with Jesus. Jesus reminded me that it was time to make a decision. Choose to stay in heaven or return to earth and continue living. I told Jesus I wanted to think about it. I thought about my mother and my pregnant wife. I wanted so much to stay there, but I felt torn. I made my choice. I had to go back. I couldn't leave my loved ones, at least not yet. Are you sure? I was very sure. Jesus showed me something that might happen in the future. He held my hand, and several visions appeared before my eyes. I saw the dates of my mother's and father's deaths. My mother would die in 13 years. 2005 would be a heartbreaking year. My father would die after November 2007. As terrible as that was, the next vision was even worse. I saw a scenario of the Third World War. The Earth's population at that time was already over 10 billion. At the end of the war, only 1 billion human beings would be left. Many countries would disappear from the Earth. The cause of the war would be the energy crisis. The Earth's climate would become very bad. There would be no more spring and autumn. Winter would be much colder than now, and it would no longer be possible to move outside normally in the summer. The hostile environment would drastically reduce food production, and many people would live in hunger. Although humanity could travel in the solar system, the technology at that time could not support the migration of all mankind. The trigger for the war would come from a global natural disaster, which would make food precious. Allies would no longer exist, and each nation would fight for its own interests. Jesus asked me again if I still wanted to return to Earth. I asked Jesus what would happen if I stayed. He held my hand again, and new images appeared in my mind. I saw my future son, who was about 20 years old at the time. Instead of choosing to continue his education, he joined a gang, was imprisoned for fighting, and then died in a shootout. My wife later found another man who was an alcoholic and often abused her. Jesus let go of my hand for the second time and asked the question again. You can guess my choice. I believe I made the right choice. I can always be there for my son and watch him grow. My wife and I have spent 34 years together. Many people want to know why I waited 30 years to tell everyone. The simplest answer is that I was scared. I didn't want people to think I was crazy. It's something I didn't even tell my family. My mother died in 2005, my father in 2007, and I treated it as pure coincidence. I'm not telling you these things to scare you. I believe Jesus showed me everything that will happen. I'm almost 65 years old. I have nothing to gain and nothing to lose by telling this. I lost my right leg in the accident. The man who hit me had a stroke while driving and, unfortunately, died in the accident. The accident opened my eyes to the brevity of life, and I became a devout Christian. If the Third World War occurs, I believe God will not abandon us. God will always be with us. After hearing this story, do you believe that the Third World War will really happen? Feel free to tell me in the comments section. Paul's near-death experience not only transformed his personal life, but also reinforced his faith and spiritual perspective. After witnessing visions of the future and being faced with the choice between staying in paradise or returning to earth, Paul chose to return to care for his family, believing it was his duty to protect and support his loved ones. This decision brought him a new understanding of the importance of life and human connections, solidifying his belief in an existence after death and a greater purpose guided by divine presence. Paul now shares his story to inspire others to believe in life after death and divine intervention, promoting hope and faith in times of adversity. For those who hear this story, reflect on the brevity of life and the importance of cherishing every moment with your loved ones. Consider that even in the most difficult situations, there may be a divine presence guiding and offering choices that shape our future. Take the opportunity to live fully, love intensely, and never lose hope. For like Paul, we can find strength and purpose in our faith and the connections we make throughout life. What did you think of this story? Subscribe to our channel to support us in bringing more stories. If you have a near-death experience, please share it with us so more people know that death is not the end. Share this video with those you love to spread hope. I'll see you in the next video.